Welcome, everyone, and thanks for tuning in into the Qual Point of View, a podcast series by Ooloi Labs. I'm Yashna Jhamb, one of the co-founders of Ooloi Labs. I'm a designer, researcher by training, and spent years in the development sector across various domains, listening to people, their stories, and trying to make sense of them at scale. Today, we're exploring how qualitative research is evolving across sectors, from social impact space to commercial brands. In this episode, we'll discuss the shift of traditional qualitative research to method neutral, insight driven strategies, the role of agility in research, how rapid analysis is transforming the field, real world stories from working with brands, NGOs, and policy organizations, and the future of qualitative research and its growing relevance in this current shift with AI coming in. Our guest today is Sharmila Das, founder and chairwoman of an organization called Purple Audacity, who has been at the forefront of integrating qualitative insights into business and development strategies. With experience spanning commercial brands, public health initiatives, and global research projects, Sharmila brings a unique perspective on how qualitative data shapes decisions, drives innovation, and creates a meaningful impact. So, whether you're a researcher, strategist, brand leader, or just someone curious about how human stories influence big decisions, this episode is for you. And let's get started. Thank you so much, Armila, for joining. Just to get us started, we'd love to start on how has the approach of qualitative research evolved in your organization. The last time we spoke, you spoke about how it was a boutique qualitative research agency and now to a method neutral insights and strategy organization. If you can just share more about this shift.
My journey is a 40-year-old journey in this sector. And to my mind, the comparison of research can be actually done probably with. So, just in archaeology, you really don't go by the surface truth. You keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper to get the actual truth. Similarly, in research, that is exactly what we do. And I think the excitement and the curiosity that keeps getting built for the researcher is something that makes some of us stay back in this sector. So, looking back in 40 years, except 2 years of not being in research, I have never even thought of doing anything else but research. So, that is the thing.
Wow. That's an analogy I'm going to use.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, that's what research is. And if I look at the manner in which my organization, which is Purple Audacity, has evolved, then I think it's a reflection of how qualitative research has also evolved. Because 17 years ago, we were a specialized qualitative research agency. But then, because of my past work, because of the tenure in which I was with the Kantar Group, or even previously, I mean, when I became a researcher, the division of qualitative and quantitative did not exist. All of us had to do everything. So I was groomed as a researcher and not as a specialized in one sector researcher initially.
Yeah.
And that is where we are all venturing back into, because the problem is greater than the methodology. That is the mantra which is evolving qualitative research. And that's why method neutrality is something which is really, really coming in, because whether it is the developmental sector or the commercial sector, the client has an issue for which the client is seeking a solution.
Yeah.
The client is not seeking a qualitative solution or a quantitative solution.
Yeah.
And that's what the evolution also has been. So, whether it is incorporation of design thinking, behavioral sciences, culture in the entire arena of research, I think the opening up of thought at the societal level, at the administrative level, at the marketing level, at the strategy level. All of it is getting reflected
Yeah.
in the evolution of qualitative research.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. You had spoken about how you work across sectors. So it's not like you're only working on social impact issues, but there are commercial organizations also who value research
Hmm.
and qualitative plus content sides. As you said, it's more about solving the problem. It's not about just what kind of data that we're capturing.
Yes.
But I think what was also interesting, you said you started off with the development sector, and that shaped your knowledge around how to do research or find insights in the commercial sector. So, if you can share that process and journey that has been for you in the last 40 years.
That's also a very favorite story for me because before starting Purple Audacity in 2008, I had been to organizations such as Mode and ADMAR, but then I had joined the Kantar group in their qualitative division and I'd stayed there for 15 long years.
Yeah.
Now, because of that, the exposure I had was also very wide.
Hmm.
So, from the commercial sector, within commercial sector, FMCG, automobiles, two wheelers and four wheelers, durables, toys, the list was very large. But at the same time, what was giving me a whole lot of motivation
Hmm.
was the developmental sector work that I was doing. So, whether it was understanding reproductive health, understanding the perceptions and attitudes towards family planning,
Hmm.
being one of the instrumental pieces in the work that was happening, and then coming out as communication for condom, the Condom Bindas Bol campaign,
Hmm.
or the oral contraceptive pill campaign, Goli Ke Hum Joli,
Yeah.
or the ORS campaign, Sathi Bachpan Ke. So I was working on all those, and I was also leading the qualitative research team, which had for the first time identified for a UNICEF project that pulse polio had a huge barrier with certain religions in our country.
Hmm.
And those segments were looking at pulse polio as something which the government was doing to do birth control in their community. So that eventually we all are aware of the Ogilvy campaign, which had featured Mr. Bachchan and the impact of that and how polio got finally eradicated. But it was such a satisfying thought that I was also part of the team
Hmm.
to identified the core
Wow.
problem that pulse polio was facing. And in a way, probably I have managed to contribute a little.
Yeah. Wow.
So, on starting Purple Audacity, obviously, I had said that we are going to work across both sectors. We are definitely going to work for the developmental sector.
Hmm.
And then in Kantar Group, not so much in the qualitative division, but otherwise there was a different division which used to take care of
Hmm.
developmental sector and another division which was taking care of the commercial sector. But in Purple Audacity, I'd said that the same team of researchers and same team of operations people will work in both the sectors because the learnings are going to be very different, and then the fusion of those learnings
Yeah.
is actually going to give us what we specialize in. And that is exactly what happened, Yashna, because the almost academic rigor, the particular focus on every aspect, the sampling, the management of the participants, ethical considerations
Hmm.
that the developmental sector has.
Hmm.
Those are such valuable lessons when we are doing work for the commercial sector. And the commercial sector teaches us agility, It teaches us action orientedness.
Yeah.
It teaches us that there should be a bang for every buck
Yeah.
that we are spending. That is so relevant for the developmental sector.
Yeah.
So the combination is what then we kept on working. And within that, the method neutrality therefore helped, because then it was not only confined to qualitative research, it was combining from the qualitative angle also, as I was saying, ethnography, design thinking, UI, UX research.
Yeah.
Okay. And from the other side, just quantitative in various kind of studies where quantitative can be used. And it was also helping us do a fusion of research with semiotics, research with behavioral economics, and incorporating a lot of the principles of behavioral sciences in our research.
Well,
So it has been very exciting. I mean, why do you think that at the age of 60 also I'm so excited about research? Because it is evolving continuously. There are so many interesting things happening, and it is wonderful being a researcher.
Yeah, I wish I have that much energy when I'm 60 on this topic, but this is you shared something so valuable right now, that there is definitely ethic, rigor in sampling, in the way we want to collect data and how data is collected. How are you bringing that lens of empathy in this development sector versus that agility and every buck counts kind of a action oriented approach in the commercial corporate world? I would love if you can share some examples of the work you've done in both these sectors where you've brought empathy and agility together. I feel it'd be very important for our listeners to understand these learnings with some context of your work across industries.
So, one of the very recent examples, Yashna, is from the developmental sector. The developmental sector project I'm referring to, that is a qualitative and quantitative project. And the project was to understand perceptions on reproductive health, and especially with a focus on demand contraceptive pills. Now, that is not something which is currently freely available.
Yeah.
There are emergency pills, but on demand is not really
Hmm.
there. And obviously, because of the subject, the cohorts that we needed to meet were married men and women in different kind of life stages. So, no children, with one or two children, with three, four children. But we also had to meet unmarried
Yeah.
girls and boys.
Yeah.
So, a qualitative and quantitative study, which is on such a sensitive topic, which has such a sensitive cohort, and which is getting done across some 5, 6 states, including states like Bihar and UP.
Yeah.
The core reason why that study was so successfully conducted and therefore delivered, and the client was so satisfied with the outcome, simply lies in a planning
Hmm.
which used a combination of, again, what was required in terms of sampling and the rigor that has to go into that, with the commercial jugaad mentality.
What does that mean?
So, therefore, how do you even identify respondents
Hmm.
who can be part of this kind of a study?
Yeah.
On one hand, there are ethical considerations which have to be kept in mind.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you definitely need those people. So, therefore, we worked out a completely different strategy for recruitment, which has been named referrals and intercepts.
Okay.
In every center which has been selected,
Hmm.
we have field partners who work on similar subjects. Okay. So, in the past, there will be respondents who have participated in their studies, and they would have established some kind of a relationship with them. We don't go and interview those respondents. We will go to those respondents and very politely request them that there is a study for which we need this kind of people. If you know somebody who fits this description, can you please ask them if they are willing to participate? This is our number, this is how they can contact us. So if you can, request them.
Interesting.
And that worked. The second strategy of intercepts is that you go to the parks where young couples are sitting and very politely again request them that this is my introduction. There is a study. Would you like to participate? If yes, this is the number that you can call. You don't have to talk to me.
Wow. Wow. Very interesting. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And also, I think it gives me a segue into understanding methodologies a little more. As you already spoke about sampling methodologies, what I'm curious to know is what are the different kinds of research methodologies as well.
Yes.
Since you come from a method neutral approach, I believe you're the right person to talk about what are some of the methodologies that you use at different stages of research. If you can share a little more on that.
Research is about understanding people better. And there could be different reasons why you want to understand people. So if you actually put up that lens and then start looking at, therefore, what kind of studies are possible, then it will start falling into place. So, therefore, the first one is an exploratory study. Exploratory study, the word defines it, that I just want to explore a particular universe of people, a particular sector of products or services, and I want to understand everything about this particular topic in terms of what are the motivators, what are the barriers, what kind of possible opportunities might be existing there, who are the users, who are the influencers. So I want a complete kind of an understanding. And that's what exploratory studies are. So if you are entering the market, so I think a few years ago, we did something for a Korean skincare brand which wanted to enter India. So they wanted to understand not only the skincare regime of youth, but also how youth is evolving in India. What are their aspirations? Can something like skincare get aligned with the aspirations of the youth?
Yeah.
So those could be exploratory studies.
Very foundational in nature, essentially.
Very foundational. In the developmental sector, studies like National Family Health, NFHS, those were year after year showing that though modern contraceptives are relatively static and except condom, nothing seems to be growing, but reporting of use of traditional methods of contraception is going up by leaps and bounds. So, therefore, what is the null hypothesis? If somebody is knowledgeable enough and is purchasing a modern contraceptive, then those are more evolved people. And those who do not know, are not aware, cannot afford, they are following traditional methods. Okay, that will be a very obvious null hypothesis to start with.
Correct. Correct.
We did an exploratory study and we found that the null hypothesis was completely wrong. In fact, those who are using traditional methods feel that A, they are more knowledgeable, they are more evolved, they know exactly what are the safe dates and when exactly they can use the traditional method. They believe that they are better as couples because the couple has developed interspousal communication. They are negotiating, they are, agreeing on something, and they feel that they have better control. So they feel that they are much better off.
Interesting.
And they call those who are using modern contraceptive a little, in Hindi there is a term bechara, which is
Oh no.
like poor souls. I mean, they don't speak to their husbands don't listen to them, so therefore as a recourse they have to fall onto modern contraceptives. So these kind of studies are exploratory studies.
Interesting.
Then after exploration, what will you do? You will probably, create a product, a service, something new, a modification, and then you will send it back to the universe. There come the next study. Before sending it back, you will do evaluative studies.
Okay. Okay.
So you have made a new ad, you have made a new commercial, you have made a new IVR, you have done a new initiative, which is a mobile based initiative, you have done posters, new interpersonal communication material. Before sending it out in the universe, you want to test it out and see if it can be improved. It is not causing any kind of disruption, undesired disruption. It is being understood in the manner in which it has been designed. So, those are evaluative studies that you will do.
Okay.
Now, you have sent it to the universe. You have done the evaluative study. It is now launched.
Okay.
After some time, you may want to do a diagnostic study.
For what?
I have launched a brand. My expectation was that it will do at least 10. It's currently doing only 7.
Got it.
Can I do a diagnostic study?
Yeah.
Why it is underperforming?
Interesting.
So, diagnostic, the word describes it. You are trying to diagnose the situation, initiative of the brand. And then to do all this, there could be qualitative, there could be quantitative, there could be ethnography. Within that, something which is becoming often done kind of a methodology is longitudinal methodology, which could be qualitative or it could be quantitative also in nature.
Okay.
But then, how does it help? It helps you assess long term behavior. So, whether you are a commercial client or a developmental sector client, eventually you want to bring in some behavior change.
Correct.
Eventually, you either want the people to start buying your product or service and use it regularly, or you want something to change in the behavior with respect to health, hygiene, nutrition, environment, anything that you are working on.
Yeah.
So, these longitudinal studies are excellent in helping you track
Okay.
if there is some behavior change.
Yeah.
You remember obviously, you will remember the lockdown. Who will not remember the lockdown? But we had launched a longitudinal study within, I think, 10 to 15 days of the first lockdown getting announced. And we had continued with that study for 1 year.
Oh, wow.
Some 300 odd people across 13 centers were part of our study. And we had kept on tracking their sentiment as they were moving from the first lockdown to the second lockdown to the third to the fourth,
Wow.
and then opening up, and how the various things which they consider important in their life were going up and down in terms of importance.
Yeah.
So if the first phase was, oh wow, we have free time, no school, no office, nobody has to go anywhere. We will sit together, make pakoras, make dalgona coffee,
Yeah.
read,
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
plate, whatever. All of that slowly started giving way to worry about studies,
Yeah.
worry about job, occupation, financial worries. Okay. And then the initial euphoria that, oh my God, we have never had this opportunity of spending so much time together as a family.
Yeah.
And the we time was really valued. Slowly that started giving way to, my gosh, I don't have me time all the time, surrounded.
Interesting.
So these kind of transitions, these kind of changes, behavior, perception, the manner in which it changes, all of that is beautifully captured in the longitudinal studies.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Superb. Thank you for sharing this. I think often a lot of foundation study is also needed in the impact space or even with the new tech in the commercial and corporate space. But it's never defined in the way that you're saying, because it's often like we have to find this out and that's just any structure you follow. But if you have those structures in place, it's easier to do the research in the right way.
Currently, we are doing a study for the foundation, Gates Foundation. So, two new contraceptives are being tested in India. The government is testing it in 10 states of India. And in 2 states,
Okay.
we, along with ICRW, are the learning partners. Now, this is one of the most interesting use
Okay.
of research and strategy expertise, I will say. Because as the rollout is happening, it is not only the women who are actually taking these new contraceptives who are being studied, it is also the health providers, the field level health providers, the Asha Bahus, the ANM. How are they dealing with these new contraceptives? The senior people, the technical partners who are actually helping the government do the rollout, how are they finding this entire rollout process? What are the challenges they are facing? Can there be certain lessons which are learned and therefore put into use by formulating a different way of doing things while the rollout is happening? So, usually, research is retrospective. Everything has happened and then research comes in. But here, research is walking the road with the implementing partners and continuously providing them inputs in terms of, we found this, so this is working very well, you should make this stronger. There needs to be a problem in this thing. Can something else be done? So that's what is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So does it fall under the diagnostic plus longitudinal thing that you're launching at the same time you're finding out more and more with the same?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's also multi-stakeholder. It's not just like a product means only for the user, but what are the different stakeholders around them and how are they getting impacted by something like that? That's beautiful.
Exactly.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that's really valuable. And the last example really helps in grounding all those concepts into one study. Just since you've done so much work and continuously still doing some interesting projects, wanted to understand if you can share some impact of research. And I won't say call and quant, I mean, separately, but research as methodology and some stories or highlights of really what has it done for different brands that you've worked with. More recently, what have you seen it doing?
Okay. So, yes, Yashna, before I share some examples, I want to once again reiterate that a lot of these examples are actually from mixed method.
Correct.
And therefore, I cannot emphasize enough on the need for keeping your eyes open towards, eyes and mind open towards using a mixed methodology rather than sticking to a single
True.
methodology.
True.
And especially probably true for India, because only a mixed methodology will probably help you unearth and unpeel the nuances that exists in India. It is one of the most complex motifs that any country can have.
Yeah.
You have caste and you have class and you have languages and you have communities. So the latest language survey has also pointed out the number of dialects which exist in each of the languages. So all of that has to be kept in mind. So from that aspect, let me talk about a few studies which have been, I can't even call them studies, they are like programs.
Correct.
So for BBC Media Action, for some 4 years, we worked with them from the inception of the initiatives on Kilkari and Mobile Kunji that they were doing. So these are mobile app based initiatives. Kilkari is for the woman, so it actually helps her understand various do's and don'ts and what she should be doing for immunization, for family planning, for nutrition, for hygiene, and everything else. And Mobile Kunji is for the ASHA, the field level workers. We had started working with BBC Media Action during the conceptualization stage itself. That what if this kind of a thing can be created?
Yeah.
Then it came into, okay, so therefore, what should be the components, both in terms of content and the vehicle through which it has to be therefore brought to the beneficiary. So if the VHSNDs, which are the fortnightly kind of gathering of women in different PHCs of villages where they are given, they bring their children, so they get their immunization. The woman can get something on family planning if she is in the prenatal or antenatal stage, then she gets the advice, medicines. So the plan was that how about just making them listen to this entire thing during that phase. So the component also had getting into, therefore, what capacity of speaker, what capacity of mobile phone, what capacity of battery is needed to ensure that this can be delivered. So, on one hand, we were testing the content, we were testing the kind of characters that were getting developed, we were putting, a shape to those characters, to those stories. We were actually looking at the content in terms of what should be said first and what should be prioritized, deprioritized. All of that was happening. This was also happening. And on certain days, we have actually done simultaneous fieldwork in 6 different BHSNDs across 6 different districts of Bihar on the same day, because BHSND happens only on Fridays. So you can go only on Fridays to test it out. So, therefore, massive operational and research kind of initiatives. Eventually, it led to the episodes being developed and therefore the content of those episodes getting finalized. And finally, after 4 or 5 years, we did the final qualitative impact assessment of these initiatives. So that is why I'm saying that research is not only about doing a project. Another example actually will be about, once again, we talk about design thinking studies, we talk about design labs, but then the Indian Jugaad mentality has created so many research projects which we did not even know that these are actually part of design thinking. So again, I think 2018, Pranav, who was with the Stanford University at that time, he reached out and he said that, listen, I have designed a micro car, which is actually a two-seater, which will be like a two-wheeler, but it is going to be a car and it will also have an air conditioner. And this is going to run on EV. Okay. So, therefore, I want to know whether India is ready for this vehicle.
Who is Pranav? I'm very curious.
Pranav
Wings EV?
Dandekar, yes.
Oh, wow. I can't believe it. I met him recently because I wanted to do the test drive for that car. Yeah.
So you will be even more, you know, interested in this story, Yashna.
100%. All yours.
I told Pranav that, listen, Pranav, I can't visualize this. And since I cannot visualize it, I will also absolutely give it to you in writing that the consumers are also not going to be able to visualize it. And it is likely that we will throw the baby with the
Yeah.
bathwater in this because people haven't understood. So, therefore, I need to give them a sense of what
Yeah.
exactly this is going to be like. He said, like, but I haven't made any prototype yet. How can we do it? I said, okay, give me the dimensions of, left, right, front, back, all the dimensions you give
Yeah.
me, and you give me the design of that.
Wow.
We got it printed on flex boards. We called the carpenter and gave him the dimension and made him do
Yeah.
basic
Yeah.
skeleton for that. The flex prints were then cut to size, and then
Wow.
we
Wow.
used glue to create the prototype, and then we placed two stools inside so that people can go and sit and feel that, okay, so I
Yeah.
have head space, I have elbow space, I have everything on this car.
Very interesting.
Not only in one center, but in 3 centers,
Wow. Wow.
we created the prototypes and we did the research. And yes, thankfully, it
Correct.
was a very positive kind of a response. Then Pranav and his father, they used their indoor
Yeah.
home to actually create the vehicle. Once it was in a running kind of a condition, then we did the next phase of research to understand what was
Yeah.
working, not working, and therefore came Robin.
Super. Thank you for sharing that. And thanks for sharing the impact the research has at different stages and what you shared. When it's like a 4 5 year old long project, when it's at a launch stage, it's exploratory, you need to know that, and then you launch, and then there's diagnostic. I mean, I feel I have upgraded my vocab for research right now by the 4 things that you've done. So I hope it's a connect for everybody who's also listening. One very big point, and also when we started this conversation, you shared that market research and research in general has been shifting gears with what's happening currently, which is around AI, the way tech is advancing. What, according to you, and what at Purple Audacity has been the impact of that change? And where do you see the future of research going? And maybe some examples of what has it been for you from the last year?
Yes. So I believe that in this entire transition, at the moment, we as researchers are at that stage of recalibration and reconciliation.
Correct.
We had started by, being a little dismissive about technology coming into research in this kind of a manner. Then we were skeptical. Then we were a little awestruck. Then we were afraid that, this is going to now replace human selves. But I think what has happened over the last 2 years has actually led to researchers also recognizing that just like when internet had come, people had said, "Ki, well, what is the need for internet? I mean, this is such an unnecessary kind of a thing. This is not going to find acceptance among the masses. It's be corporates who will be using it." And look at the situation today, where we see the kind of impact it has even on the rural population.
Yeah.
YouTube, the India subscription or viewership of YouTube is mind boggling. So, just like that, for AI also, that is the phase of recalibration and reconciliation that we are doing.
Correct.
It is about how to get the best out of both worlds, which is human intelligence and artificial intelligence, where all and to what extent should AI be used? What is that boundary where AI should be stopped and human intelligence, especially the human understanding of the context and the culture, is to be brought in to this entire thing. So, therefore, we are all experimenting currently with
Yeah.
AI at different stages. Some of them we are ourselves very skeptical about. There is a lot of chatter on synthetic data. I, as a researcher, am still very, very skeptical about synthetic data. In my mind, it is similar to, the interviewers sitting underneath a tree and just copying one questionnaire to another, to another, to another. But I could be absolutely wrong on that. So, therefore, I will wait to see the results of that. But on everything, we are, taking small steps, but we are using AI. You will not believe that among our researchers, there are so many who still feel that using any form of AI is almost like an insult to their own intelligence. So, AI as an assistant rather than a replacement, AI to actually take over the laborious part of research
Yeah.
to make things more efficient, that is the direction
Yeah.
that research is currently moving towards. Because eventually, again, I'm coming back to the same complexity of the India motive that I was referring to. That, I mean, we probably have one of the most complex motives in the world. Within that motive, AI can give you the patterns, but it is only human insight and call which will actually find the meaning in those patterns. You really cannot think that you are going to be replaced with AI.
Yeah.
So, that
Yeah.
mental barrier is the first one which needs to be overcome.
Yeah.
And then the efficient use of AI and where exactly AI can be used, that should be done.
Yeah. Yeah. We're also at a place that resonates with what you're saying. Like qualitative research analysis is very important, but also a lot of hours and minds go into it. And the idea is to support humans in that process.
Mm.
From how we see it, it cannot be about replacing the voices of people and the raw data, but to get some support in the synthesis of it. And as you rightly said, we need to identify where it is right to use and what AI can do well, and then leverage that.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I think very, very valuable.
Yeah. And that is why should we feel that we are going to get replaced? I mean,
Yeah.
look at the diversity of India.
Yeah.
The high rise of Gurgaon or Bangalore to the
Correct.
hearts of, Jharkhand, and
It is so different.
all those behaviors are shaped differently by different
Yeah.
experiences. And that is
Yeah.
what call captures. How can AI actually? Maybe in some years it will start doing that also. But currently, no.
Very valid. Very valid. Super. I think there's a lot that we've got. There's a lot of insight. But just before we wrap up, for practitioners and for organizations, what do you think? What is the shift needed when it comes to even adopting research? And what are the, say, misconceptions that need to be broken for research? If you have anything and there's something that should really be adopted for practitioners and different organizations around research, something that you've seen Purple Audacity actually do.
So I had a lot of murals created
Okay.
on the walls of Purple Audacity. And one of the favorite murals is actually about Sherlock Holmes. So, as researchers, that is actually your metaphor, because every insight is going to lead to the bigger picture, and it really is like a detective. story, and that
Another one to take.
yeah, that is what you do. But then
Yeah.
to continuously do that, one needs to continuously keep cultivating that vulgar curiosity, which is part
Mm.
of being a researcher. Stay very, very sensitive towards the cultural aspects
One.
that you are
Mm.
going to confront, and remain comfortable with ambiguity. Because it is not necessary that every time you are going to get an answer.
Mm.
Not
Mm.
getting an answer is also an answer.
Mm.
So, for the practitioners, that's what I would like to leave as a thought.
Wow. I think that's beautiful and a beautiful way to close this. I personally feel the hardest is to be okay with ambiguity and be okay with not getting an answer, because then they're like, oh, things have to change if you don't get the answer. Somehow force fit an answer just because it needs to be closed. The project needs to be closed. The program needs to be closed. But I wish there was a recipe, but I know there isn't.
Mhm.
But first to say that it's fine if you don't get an answer, there's another direction. But I guess being open and curious at all times really would help for sure. All right. Thank you so much for this. I think it's a packed episode with a lot to take and a lot of examples and insights. Thank you so much for taking out this time. We're very deeply honored that you are a part of this podcast.
Thank you so much, because I have really loved having this conversation.
Mhm.
Because, yes, we are into this sector, we are into this entire profession, but then stepping a little back and then looking at it gives you a very good feeling. And that's what I was doing today with you.
Thank you so much. And that's the episode. Today, I want to leave you with a question. What's a decision you're making that might just change if you had the story behind the numbers? Give it some thought, and thank you for listening. Do check out our other episodes in this series. Our first season focuses on qualitative data and research, and we had a fantastic lineup of guests. If you found this valuable, please subscribe and share it with a friend who might find our conversation interesting. And if you'd like to learn more, you can visit our website getdots.in or write to us at hello@ooloilabs.in and follow us on LinkedIn for updates. Until next time, I'm Yashna signing off.